All right. Well, good morning. Welcome to the Sunday morning gathering for the Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee. It's my pleasure to welcome you here today. I'm the senior minister, Rev Pam Brandman, and I would like to welcome you here because whatever your path is on the way to God, we know that all the paths end in oneness and in love, and you are welcome here. You are in the right place. And so we'd like to remind everyone that our center's purpose is love. Our vision is embracing all and serving with love while awakening to the one. We set our intentions today with our receptivity statement that you'll see on our screen, so please read along with me. All right. I think it's a little bit hard for me to read from this angle. Okay. Okay, ready? I am here by divine appointment. Something about to hear applies to my life. I am open, receptive, and willing to explore the possibilities. All right. Well, our musician this morning is Subra Doyle. And yesterday, Subra played a solo concert at Vikings Home as a fundraiser for the state parks. So that would have been nice if I'd known about that a little sooner. Well, yeah, see, there you go. So he's good, right? And Subra is also the lead guitarist for his band, Pipe Down, and the reggae band. And their next two stops on their summer tour is Gamblers Run Music Festival next Saturday in Crystal Bay, and the Lake Tahoe Reggae Fest 2023, 2 Saturdays from now in Olympic Valley. Yay! So please help me welcome Subra Doyle.
Hello, can you hear this? Okay, cool. And before I start, just so it's smooth, I want to make sure you can hear the guitar. Is that coming through? Not the acoustically, but there should it's being amplified. Let me turn on this delay. Did you hear the delay? Is there any way for me to hear that? It's okay. Well, I'm gonna be shooting in the dark today, but we'll have a good time. I promise. It's all good. All right, I'm going to do a short little meditative piece. Thank you very much. I'm going to start on piano and then move my way. Is this, there should be a loop right now. I don't think they're okay. Change of plans. No worries. Sorry guys, I thought this was set up. Change of plans. You're gonna be in the moment, right?
Thank you. And staying in that meditative state, I'd like to welcome this morning's practitioner, Brenda Haldorn. I'm grateful that Brenda and two other practitioners, Nancy O'Neill and Carol DalBon, served as the Sunday morning practitioners and MCs while I was on sabbatical last month. So this morning, Brenda led the meditation before our service, but now it's time for the special reading and an invocation.
Thank you, Reverend Pam. Welcome back. This morning's special reading comes from the Science of Mind magazine for this month, for June. For July. This is from July 3rd. Conditions are not cause. You create your thoughts create your intentions, and your intentions create your reality. Dr. Wayne Dyer. Realize that behind everything that is seen is the silent cause. In your life, you are that cause. There is nothing but mind, and nothing moves except as mind moves it. In our lives of conditions, we are the cause, and nothing moves except as our mind moves it. Ernest Holmes. First, there is a thought, and then the condition. I think a lot of us know this and get it. First a thought, then something is created, and we have a chair, a computer, a business, money, career, relationship, a condition. This is true for each of us and also shows up in the thought atmosphere of groups, such as families, friends, companies, crowds, and countries. We can fall into the trap of blaming our conditions, thinking that if such and such condition just did not exist, everything would be so much better. Yet our consistent thoughts and intentions contribute to the outcomes in every part of life, not just some parts. We can spend a lot of energy attempting to change a condition for the better, only to have it remain unchanged or changed only temporarily. It can be very satisfying to do something and appear to change something. For example, many of us wish to change our body weight. We want to be healthier, thinner, heavier, or stronger. We can go on a plan of eating and exercise and attain that change. Yet without the corresponding change to our thoughts and that create the body we have, we will likely return back to the original condition. When we start with our mind first, any changes we make in the world of form will be clear to us and have a greater chance of lasting. Beginning with my own mind, I affirm and envision changes to the conditions I choose to change. And so taking this wisdom into prayer, I remember that there is just one mind, one power, one love, one intelligence, one wisdom, one beauty, one peace. And as there is only one, I am one with it. Each of us are expressions of this one. And the nature of the one is to create. The nature of this one is perfection. And so this divine mind continuously comes into form, abandons form, comes into new form. Each one of us is a center of co-creation with the one. And so I recognize that my thoughts co-create with the one mind. The power in this understanding is the foundation that I stand on, recognizing that God and I are one. The mind of God is in me. I am in the mind of God. And so all conditions, all circumstances, all relationships are held in the palm of the hand of God. And so I bless this knowing. I keep the focus of this truth in the forefront of my thoughts, and I guard the gate of my mind, recognizing the one mind that is in me. And so I simply give thanks, accepting this wisdom into my heart, following its guidance, and celebrating in joy for the peace that enfolds me and lifts me up. I know that this is true for me, this is true for each one here. All is well. I release my word into the law, knowing that it is already returned fulfilled. And together we say, and so it is. And I'd like to welcome Subra back. Thank you.
Thank you, Subra. Yeah, that song comes with a lot of memories for me. So, have to. My first husband passed away, and that was his favorite song that he used to play and sing over and over and over again. So, for 3 years after he died, I was dash out of the room crying, but we'll hold it together here. Okay. But it's a great song. So, today, the theme for July is speaking truth to power, or its variation, speaking truth to circumstances, like Brenda was sharing with us this morning. And today's talk is called Monsters Incorporated. So if we see that that power can be the monsters, I watched the movie again this weekend, and it's really quite a funny movie. That Michael, particularly my sort of new husband. We've been here. We've been together for what? Let's see. I have to count now, so that's good. 14 years we've been married, so very cool. But anyways, he loves to laugh at animated songs. But anyway, but when we think of power, what do we think of typically? Usually it's people, organizations, and circumstances that seem to be controlling our lives and just blocking our way forward. Try as we might, this powerful person is in our way. And these obstacles can seem so powerful that they're like monsters. And the funny thing about monsters is that the more we fear them, the more powerful and bigger they get. Perhaps we even feel completely powerless. We shrink into our fear, we're actually giving away our power. All right? Have you ever considered that the people that are trying to control us are actually afraid of what we might do if they don't control us? All right? So this is a premise in the movie, in the Monsters Incorporated. So this is a Pixar animation, and it's about the monsters work at this company called Monsters Incorporated. So if you haven't watched it in a few decades, but their job is to generate power by scaring little human children. They come out of their closet at night and they scare the kids and they record the scream and then they take it back, and that's how they power their entire community. That's their energy source. Right? And so the whole movie's about what happens when a little girl named Boo sneaks from her bedroom into the factory. And the monsters are deathly afraid of this little girl. She can't even talk yet. And they have a decontamination squad that comes in. If they see a kid's sock or something like that, this whole, they just, it's like we have a hazardous waste spill on the highway or something or other, and the whole team comes in and they decontaminate it, and they super clean the person, all the monster, all their fur comes off, and it's just, they're really deathly afraid of these kids and all their germs. So Boo gets through, and the monsters are frantically and hilariously scurrying around trying to catch her and get her home. But it turns out that once Boo and the monsters get to know each other, then they find out that they become friends. They understand each other. They see that everyone is really a nice person or monster, right? And so, just like these monsters, circumstances that we see in our lives are never the truth. All right? When we look underneath whatever that appearance is, we see that spiritual truth that's underneath. And, it's like there's smoke and mirrors that are obscuring that truth if there's something that's wrong. So truth shines through the darkness, just like light shines through the darkness, right? And so, typically the phrase when we're talking about speaking truth to power, it encourages us to stand up, for ourselves and against those forces that might seem to be more powerful than we are. And we may feel called upon to overcome our fear and just fight those big bad monsters in our lives. Now, this is the old world school of power. All right? We want to get organized to exert influence over people and effect change. Get those people to change. Whatever we need to do to manipulate them or control them, they will be part of our way of making the world the way we want it to be, controlling it. Now, centuries ago, people needed to band together in tribes for survival. All right, when the caveman, that was the way that they did it, and that's the only way that they could go and hunt the mastodon or whatever they were looking for. And so they built power by creating coalitions of people who were like us, and mobilizing these people to act. And so that tribal instinct has been carried forward into our current society. So we define people that are part of our tribe however we choose to define it. So it's people of the same nationality, same race, religion, if they're male or female or LGBTQ, whatever we choose, who are woke or they're conservative, environmentalist or pro-development, pro-life or right to choose. I mean, whatever you choose, we have all these different definitions that we define who's on the in crowd with us, and everyone else is on the other, right? And so the othering is a tendency to assign negative attributes to whoever we assign to that other group. There was a 2014 article in the journal Evolution and Human Behavior that documented sociological studies showing that children and adults judge and punish people in their own in-group for misbehaviors far less harshly than they judge and punish people in their out-group. Same offenses, very different punishments. So they're building power and judging people by the perceived outer circumstances, right? So the problem is this old world system of power is self-perpetuating, right? It's like the Game of Thrones, right? One king, one queen or ruler kills the old ruler to come into power. And they rule until they're killed by the next king or the queen, right? It's an endless cycle. And, retribution, revenge, it just one after the other, it just keeps going. In the book Four Pivots by Sean Ginwright, he writes about Ben McBride, who is a young black activist that grew up in Hunters Point district of San Francisco. And as he grew up in the 1980s, he felt a sense of community and belonging with his church-going parents in that community and his neighborhood friends. They ran around the neighborhood and went to the candy store together, and they danced to music and all those kinds of things. Somebody had a pirated video, and they'd all gather to watch on the TV. But when Ben was 16, he attended the funeral of his best friend. And that was a normal thing. And it changed him. He saw what they defined as police violence against the black communities. And so, and when he became an adult, he began leading protests, right? Became a organizer. And as he led protest after protest, he became increasingly frustrated and fatigued. And then he realized that he was trying to, as he said it, beat evil with evil, or trying to defeat hate with hate. He was becoming the very thing that he detested, angry and violent. Right? It's just like kids playing King of the Mountain. The black activists were using the same tactics. They were protesting to come out on top. Right? Again, that vicious circle going around. So this is his quote from him about his big realization about something that needed to change. McBride said, "I've been finding that organizers are starting to come to the end of their journey around what their work is all supposed to be adding up to. People are burning out because their way that we're trying to go about engaging with the world is eating away at our soul and eating away at our consciousness. Our work doesn't refill us. It exploits. It extracts. It does not fuel us. I realized that I was becoming the very thing that I abhorred. In order to stop police from dehumanizing black people, I started dehumanizing police. This way of thinking was wearing me down. I realized that I have to become something different in order to live into the value that I felt of wanting to be connected in a different way." he'd become like the monsters that he was fighting, right? So what's the alternative? What would be a new world type of power? Ernest Holmes reminds us that true power comes from within, from our connection with spirit that is operating in and through and as each one of us, each and every one of us, right? In reality, people who seem powerful, they are no more or less part of spirit than we are, right? They are no more or less powerful than we are. Their efforts to control us are not real power, but just smoke and mirrors that disguise the truth and encourage us to forget who we are, expressions of the infinite, right? So if there is an even playing field, how do we learn to express our own inner power and express that divine intention of who we are? There's a term called beloved community that was first coined by the philosopher-theologian Josiah Royce, who was in San Francisco, and then popularized by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And so by reinventing revolution and bringing love, compassion, and belonging into social change, we cultivate, as Grace Lee Boggs calls it, a beloved community. Right? This requires that we learn new ways of relating and understanding each other. We've traveled this path of othering and treating people in certain ways and, being king of the hill or queen of the hill. But now it's about embracing everybody as a part of the one. Each and every person is a part of us, right? We seem to have this physical separation, but at the level of spirit, of the essence of who we are interconnected with all of life, with each and every person. And so we need to learn to recognize that the circumstances of a human being's life are not the same as the quality of who that human being is. We come to recognize that people we once considered the other or a monster are just human beings like ourselves who are part of spirit expressing itself, who are doing the very best that they can at the time. We are part of that same life force. We can continue fighting the monsters and treating all the relationships as transactional, right? Or we can learn to build transformative relationships that support each other to evolve and create new possibilities together. Marianne Williamson says, "We do not heal the past by dwelling there. We heal the past by fully living in the present." And so Ben McBride, as he went on in his activism, it changed how he was doing it. Rather than focusing on the protest, he started working on experiences and training that would help people learn new ways of interacting. And so he talks about, and I'm not going to go into the details, you can read it in the book, but he talks about when he was doing a training for police. And they realized that they were doing this as well. They were othering the people that they were dealing with on the street because they wanted to protect themselves, protect their partner that they were with that day. And so they learned that they needed to accept the people in the community where they were working as part of themselves rather than the other. And the same thing would happen for some of the black youth that he was working with. And it was scary to try and do things differently. If you've got a kid that's, really into violence and aren't they gonna just act out again? Aren't you vulnerable if you're with them and trying to do something, you put yourself at risk being with somebody like that. But how else are they going to learn unless they're treated as if they are whole and complete? And they might be on a learning curve, but that is in essence who they are. And so they're turning over a new leaf, learning something new. Now, in this morning's reading, we talked about, it was by Reverend Dr. Michelle Madrano, and she talked about conditions are not the cause. All right? She explained that basic science of mind principle very well, that our thoughts create things. Our thoughts are what direct the creative power to create the conditions in our lives. Our thoughts are the cause. We say, change your thinking, change your life. All right? So Dr. Michelle explains that if we spend our time trying to change the outer condition, like the body's weight, our strength, or health, we may be temporarily successful, but until we change our thinking about who we are, we will most likely return to the original condition. Right? So lasting change starts with changing our beliefs, our thoughts, and our intentions. Wayne Dyer there's a quote that's gotten very popular. We're not really sure where it originally came from. He took it from the reading of Tao Te Ching, and he said, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Right? So if we stop seeing something as like all music being the same, but we really get to know it, we find out there's a whole lot more depth to it and more meaning and more variation. I know Subra's, plays in a lot of different genres of music, and they're all different. They're all the same, but they're all different, right? And so it's that thing that makes each one unique. And so we can broaden to enjoy different types of music, just as we can broaden our world to embrace all of the wonderful traditions and viewpoints that each human being brings to the world, right? Now, when we want to change our thinking, though, how do we discern what is the truth under all these false appearances, under all the smoke and mirrors? Well, we can learn to turn within and listen to that enduring infinite power and presence that is within us. Then we have tapped into a power that is greater than we are. We turn our attentions from those conditions and the outer circumstances to the first cause, right? There, we can see how all people come from the same source. And we also discover the divine guidance needed to transform every situation. Whatever's going on, it's a part of Spirit, and Spirit understands and knows how to transform it. Change begins when we align with the nature of the divine. We start with knowing that God is life, we are life. God is love, we are love. God is light, we are light. Health, wisdom, peace, beauty, joy. All of these are the divine qualities, and then we let it express through us and as us. When we're so joyful, we feel connected with life, right? And it just, people, I can remember minister that I knew in Salt Lake City he got into an elevator with the head of the Mormon church, and so he got on this elevator, and he just felt this presence behind him. Now, he didn't agree with all the teachings of the Mormon church or anything, but the man who was the president, he was very prayed up, and he was very connected to Spirit, and he could just feel that presence. There's a connection, right? And so what we're teaching us to do by going within is we shift from our initial response, which is fight, flight, or freeze, and we add a fourth option, turn within. Right? Now, in the Science of Mind textbook, page 417, Ernest Holmes said, in this judging, not according to appearances, we are impressing the law with a new idea of ourselves, a less limited idea, and we are learning to think independently of any existing circumstances. This is what is meant by entering the absolute. That is the oneness. This is what the state we call of oneness. There is no separation between us and the divine. All is one. Now, there's many stories about what happens when an individual or a group of people cry out to God in despair for guidance. And, there's lots of stories in the Bible like Moses, King David, or the prophets in the Torah in the Old Testament. And they would turn to God, the power within, for guidance, right? And there's also stories about when the hero doesn't listen and gets into lots of trouble, all right? When our ego takes over, we start to think that this world is all there is, rather than realizing that there's a power greater available to us. So the Sufi dervishes have a wonderful spiritual practice that they call zikr. And it's meant to bring God into our hearts. Now, Robert Frager describes zikr in his book, Sufi Talks, Teaching of an American Sufi Sheikh. He was one of the people in my ministerial school. And so, as they're doing this movement, they say in Arabic, there are no gods, there is God, or Allah, right? And so then they have head movements that go with it. So as they say, there are no gods with a little g, meaning that there are no, they're sweeping they turn their head to the right, right? So there are no gods. And when they do that, this is the outward action-oriented side. For most people, that's your dominant hand. And that's trying to control the world. So they're sweeping, there are no gods. And they're sweeping their hearts clean of dust, of the false idols and the worldly attachments that have accumulated there. They're saying no to all of their self-centered ambitions and ego-based activities. Now, after they've turned their head to the right, then they turn their heads to the left and down while they say, there is Allah. All is Allah. And so symbolically, this represents placing God on the altar of our now cleansed hearts, taking it within. In the Sufi teachings, the heart is a divine temple built by God to house God within us. Right? They talk about the heart of hearts is central part of their teaching. And so when you go, there are no gods, there is Allah. There is no God, there is Allah. So in just one repetition, if they've done this many times, it can send them into ecstasy, right? That sense of oneness with God. And they repeat that. That's quite an elevated awareness. And they repeat it over and over in a simultaneous motion as a group, as a sense of unity with the community and with God. I mean, it's when they really get going, you have a whole big room full of people doing this at the same time, and it's like one breath. And, they're all chanting, very loudly. So try it with me, okay? So there are no gods, there is God. There is no God, there is God. There is no God, there is God. There is no God, there is God. There are no gods, there is God. There are no gods, there is God. There are no gods, there is God. Right? So zikr is remembrance of God, as is prayer for the Sufis. Zikr allows them to easily keep their minds and hearts on God in that chant, in that movement, while they stay grounded so they're not overwhelmed by the love of God. The love of God is so powerful that it's just, you can't control it. You can't, it'll burn you out. It's so strong and powerful. And so this allows them to expand their consciousness and incorporate more of that divine love. So the goal of Sufi spiritual practice is to live their lives remembering God and do their jobs and pay their taxes and answer the phone and handle their email, take care of the kids, whatever they need to do. But they remember God through it all. Right? They are essentially living their lives from a sense of oneness that would support the beloved community. Perhaps that's why Sufism is known as a religion of love. It's the mystical part of Islam. Right? So it's this is really what we are talking about when we do mindfulness. That's remembering God, that we're one with God. At the same time, we're doing whatever we're doing. So our center Now, let's put this to practical use. Our center is going through a time when we need to listen to that divine guidance within. All right? Back in May, I was feeling exhausted because I'd been working way too many hours a week, every week for years, going through COVID and everything was going on. And I was starting to feel lost without a clear sense of divine guidance and, what were the most important priorities. And just, when you get in that kind of survival mode, you just kind of slog along. And so I took a sabbatical in June. And while I didn't get a lot of the home tasks that I wanted to do, I didn't get any of those boxes unpacked, but I did have time to slow down and listen and clarify my call to ministry. I listened to Spirit. What is mine to become, I asked. What is mine to release? What is mine to do? Now, right as my sabbatical began, we got some exciting news. Our second floor tenant decided not to renew his lease when it ends at the end of December. So it was like, what do I do? Do I come back? This is another emergency. Of course, you need the minister for all this. And I meditated and I said, no, you need to be clear. You need to meditate. And so things went on without me. I am not the center. The center is not the building. The center is God in spirit as the people. Right? That is who we are. And so this scary shock was there, yes, but that is a condition that's on the outside. And so as we look at these monsters, we look at it and say, well, this is just the outer expression. When you talk about, the Hindus do it very well, when you have the cycle of creation, and things are beautiful and wonderful, and then it gets destroyed and transmuted, and something new is created. So there's this cycle of creation and destruction, right? And so the only thing that never changes is change. Everything is always changing, right? And so divine guidance started bubbling up. We have lots of options to investigate so we can make the best decision to shift our center into our next phase of ministry. And the options are all over the place. Our board is investigating, we're already preparing a minor use permit so we could repave the parking lot and redo our sign. Well, we could add to that a little bit, and we could convert the property to a residential use. We could either just turn the second floor into 2 apartments and maybe finish off the 3rd floor. And we'd actually have more income than we would if we just rented out to a new commercial tenant. All right, how do we get from here to there? But, that's a possibility. We could have workforce housing, which would have a common kitchen, and 5 or 6 people could live there together. That's a big need here at the lake. We can sell the building and rent, go back to what we were doing before. We could buy a smaller building in North Lake Tahoe, or we could really be adventuresome and move to Truckee, where there's a whole lot more people. And maybe that would be better for us for the long term to be more long-term viable, for sustainability. So, but we're looking at all of it. We're looking to divine guidance because Spirit knows, and it's up to us to listen and discover. And everyone's got these great ideas, and we're all putting our heads together. We're all listening, and I think some wonderful things are coming forward. Margaret Mead, who's always inspiring to me, she said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." Right? So, the initial shock has been replaced by a sense of opportunity. And pursuing these ideas is bringing the board together into action. I think there's a much higher level of energy, and that we're not in the same rut. So we're all changing and evolving with it. If you have some ideas to share, please contact me or a board member. Spirit is speaking through all of us, right? Sometimes it's scary to share our feelings, our hopes and our dreams and our fears even, but they are all part of that highest and best that is unfolding in our center. They are all milestones, perhaps, that we want to be integrity with that spirit within. When we stand up and speak truth to power, we are really announcing that we know who we are, part of the universal I am. We know that we are one with spirit and with all people. True change comes not from subduing our monsters and foes, but by healing and transforming first our own lives and making it safe for others to do the same. And as we create space for all people, all expressions of the infinite to heal and transform, we will be lifted up and empowered together. We are seeking to do our part to build the beloved community. The best is yet to come. So let's take this to prayer. So as we go within, in the stillness, in the quiet, we sense the power and presence of the divine, of the infinite invisible that is everywhere present. And we open our hearts to allow it to fill our being, to be our true self. And as we let go and let God be that true being of who we are, we realize that we are connected with all that is. There is no other. There is only us, the one. And it is good. And from this awareness, this consciousness of oneness, of strength and peace and power and wholeness, we look out at what yesterday looked like a monster, and today we see a situation, a circumstance that is changing just like we are. We are evolving together. And so we tame our monsters. We tame our own fears. And it is that grace of spirit that gives us the understanding and the peace and the love and compassion that allows us to do that. And so we grow stronger and wiser every day, and we share that infinite love with the world. This is the truth of who we are as individuals and as CSL Tahoe-Truckee. And so it is with great joy, deep, abiding joy, that we stand tall and strong and clasp hands together, and we look to the future. We look within to spirit for guidance, and it bubbles up with clarity and with wisdom and understanding. We are guided to know the next step forward and the next and the next. We are guided to know what we need to release and what we need to embrace and what we need to become something even greater, even more effective, expressing the wholeness and love of spirit through us and as this center. And it is good. And we allow that love to ripple out into the community, touching lives, touching hearts, and being our part of building the beloved community everywhere. We stand tall in strength, and yet bending like the willow, flowing with goodness and light and love. And so it is with deep gratitude that we accept this truth, that we know it in experience, and we release these words to the law, knowing that it is done, this or even greater, as our awareness grows, as the infinite sees beyond what we can see with our limited eyes. But we know that we are part of the greatness of spirit, and we surrender to this greater yet to be. And we say, thank you, Father, Mother, God. Thank you. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for this center. Thank you for life itself. And it is good. And together we say, and so it is. So I'd like to welcome Subra for one more song. transition from that deep place. So, well, now is our prosperity time. And the if we have our prosperity affirmation on the screen, we're going to, oh, well, there's lots of ways to give. And we really appreciate, at our prosperity time, we know that CSL Tahoe-Truckee, we know that God is our infinite source from our center and for each of us as individuals. And if you were inspired by today's gathering, please consider sharing your abundance with your spiritual community. Donations of your time, talent, and treasure to our center support our vision of embracing all and serving with love while awakening to the one. And we're extremely grateful when you show your gratitude by that CSL is continuing to make a difference in your life and the life of our community. So there's lots of ways to give. You can send checks. You can send a automatic debit from your checking account. You can donate on our website with PayPal or credit card. You have online bill pay, and we have Venmo now too, which is at Tahoe CSL Truckee. Put the dash in there, and they all work. But if you would take whatever your offering is be, your intention, and hold it over your heart and repeat our prosperity affirmation with me. I gratefully, in everything I give thanks, I gratefully and joyfully share my offering, which flows from God, my infinite source. My gift blesses this center and all who are guided, healed, and empowered by its activities. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. And so we give thanks to God as our source. We give thanks for the abundance that fills our lives, that supports the center, and everything that is good in the world. It is full to overflowing with that divine love and joy and peace and bounty. It is all God, and it is all good. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. And so it is. All right. Well, we have a few guests that are our first times that are here with us this morning, so I'd like to welcome you. We have a guest book over here that you could sign, and we also have a form you can fill out. And if you would like to get on our newsletter and get more information, we have a welcome packet for you. Some of those dark green things there, next to those little affirmation cute things we have there. And but if you would like to. We also have our prayer request cards there, so you can fill out if you want a prayer request or something like that. But I have a few thank yous I'd like to make this morning too. So I want to thank Subra Doyle for being our musician this morning. Thank you very much. And we're going to have his roadie. Roadie is going to check out his great little system over here. So it's working for him next time. But it was a good soft shoe there. So that was good. You know, it goes with the flow. I want to thank Brenda Heldorn, our practitioner for today, and for leading the meditation before the service as well. Zoom hosting was Diana Misets. Thank you, Diana. And for hospitality, it was Patricia Smelser. And there's a few extra goodies, but most of that is some really good things that she's brought with her. And so now we're focusing on our announcements. So right after today, we do have our hospitality. You can join us in the sanctuary, in the hospitality room. There will be some refreshments to spend some time and get to know people in the CSL family, or say hello if you haven't been here for a while. We have, we've got Will in the back here, who's here for the first time, Carnelian Bay, and Shell Shambari, who's visiting us from Monterey. She's a former member, and you just took your daughter Lala up to teen camp. Started yesterday, so that was exciting. And then Mary Ann from Auburn. So she was here for a wedding, and so she's visiting us and see how we do it up here in the mountains. All right. So, but anyway, so get to know each other, and also if you're online, we'll keep the Zoom open for a while so you can chat with each other there as well. Now, next Sunday, I will be speaking on Got Me Hypnotized. So looking about those circumstances. And the practitioner will be Michael Brandman, and our musician will be Tuck Wilson. You can go online and find out more information about our spiritual center, and activities are there on the website. And we also have video recordings of our Sunday gathering and some meditations that you can find on our website and on our YouTube channel. All right. So the big announcement today is this year's CSL annual retreat is promising to be something quite special. And it's entitled Soul Sangha, Communing with Sacred Joy and Wisdom. It's going to be led by Reverend Dr. Melissa Phillippe and Reverend Z. Egloff at the Ananda Expanding Light Retreat Center. So how could Soul Sangha make a big difference in your spiritual life? So close your eyes and imagine yourself relaxed and renewed in the stunningly beautiful and sacred environment of Ananda's Expanding Light Retreat Center. Enjoying prayer and meditation, chanting and singing, deep sharing and compassionate listening, NLP, dyads, while exploring areas of resistance and strength. More fully connected with your soul in the company of new and old friends. Experiencing the transformative power of Sufi dancing, maybe zikr and joy. Feeling more grounded spiritually with enhanced joy and gratitude and deeper connection with others. And gleaning new insights from a deeper awareness of the spirit within. So, are you ready to make that real? Today, you can register here at the center. We've got the registration here in hospitality and on the website, www.tahoecsl.org. And if you want to save some money and qualify for the early bird rate, you have to pay in full by July 11th. Regular registration closes on August 21st. But tomorrow, July 10th, is a very important date because we have to confirm with Ananda that we are going to either hold the retreat there, it's September 8th through the 10th, or we're going to cancel it. So sign-ups have been kind of slow. I know that there's some people that really go, and that particular week they've got a big family event because they waited for 3 years because of COVID, and now they've got a big event. Or I know one person who's going to, she's got her annual professional association meets that week or something like that. So, but it's going to be a fabulous retreat, and we would really love to hold it. So, really think seriously if you're available. This is going to be a great time. And so we want to make sure enough people are going to be, we want to at least break even. And so if you're thinking about attending, please register today, or at least let us know that you do plan to sign up. Call your friends, your family, make it an outing. You can talk to the people in Auburn. They would love to come. We would love to have them. And Auburn has an interim minister, Suzanne. Yeah. So it's not quite the same as when things are going along at full speed. So. Anyway, so we've invited Auburn and Placerville and Grass Valley to join us, and Sacramento. I think Georgia was here for CSL, although she's retired, and they've got a new minister there too. So, but anyway, so there's all these transitions going on. But anyway, it's going to be a great time. You can find more details and prices on the website, and there's flyers in the lobby. And here is a video promo from Melissa and Z.
Welcome home, home to the heart of love. Hi, my name's Melissa Phillippe.
And my name is Z Egloff, and we are currently in the middle of a 4-month
Forest.
tour. Yeah, and we're in the forest in
Georgia,
Georgia,
of all places.
of all places. We're looking forward to coming back to Northern California, and specifically this fall, September 8th through 10th in Ananda Village, Soul Sangha, sponsored by Tahoe Center for Spiritual Living. It's going to be amazing.
Yes, it is.
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be sweet and deep, and you'll be able to connect with each other, connect with yourselves and spirit. It's going to be connect with us.
And us. Yeah.
I mean, you know,
All of those things.
it's just really going to be so beautiful,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. Yeah. We look forward to seeing you there.
Sign up.
Sign up.
Yeah. So we're really fortunate to have these two very talented and inspiring ministers and musicians as our facilitators. So, it's going to be a great event. So do sign up. Okay. Now, the other announcements, we'll kind of go through these more quickly. So this week, Tuesday, 9 a.m., is the e-bike tour that we do every week in the summer. And this week they're going from Dollar Point to Homewood. And they're going to meeting at the trailhead. And you can get the details on the website or in the newsletter. If you have questions, also you can contact Sue Pipel if things are changing. But there's several people here who are also going to go on the ride. And they'll have lunch on the way home and at Hurricane Bay, or maybe go swimming if it's going to be nice and warm this week, right? Okay, there is a healing hour with Don Jose Ruiz for just $25. The CSL Home Office Speaker Series is presenting 60 Minutes with Don Jose Ruiz on Friday, June 14th at 8 a.m. Pacific. That's so people in Europe can also participate. So you can be in your jammies on Zoom. And but he began his shamanic journey as an apprentice to his father, the world-renowned author Don Miguel Ruiz, who wrote the Four Agreements. So he's if you read his story, which is in this month's magazine, he's gone through some amazing transformations himself. And he and his dad have co-authored some books, traveled the world in service. It's going to be a live virtual event, and you can get your tickets. Actually, there's a link on our website, or you can go straight to the csl.org website and sign up for that. Okay, we have Adopt a Highway as next Saturday, 267. That sign that Mary Ann saw, that she's the reason she's here on that sign. But we have about 2 miles of highway that we clean up there once a month in the summer. So please see Nancy O'Neill if you'd like to do that. There's some pre-training to do that for safety online, but it's a great service that we do. Also, on Monday the 17th is a new moon, and with that comes the Red Tent, which is a monthly sacred gathering of women for potluck and ceremony and sharing. All right? And another one of our favorites is Gary Lynn Floyd. He is the head musician down at the CSL in Reno, and the Art Town Reno is an annual event that goes on for the whole month of July. Well, Gary's putting on his 5th production called When Gary Met Harry, which is Harry Warren, which is one of the most prolific writers of the Great American Songbook. And so he's going to be performing along with his band. And the tickets are $30 to $40, so I think you want to get those in advance. And it's at the Virgil, which is an event center in Midtown, Reno. And I think Penny was talking about going, so I think there might be a group. So if you're interested, talk to Penny. And so that would be a great event, because Gary is a fabulous musician. Okay. And then also there is the CSL SOAR 23 is at Asilomar this year, which is fabulous. And I know there are at least 5 of us going so far, so you can still sign up for that. And it is in August, the 8th through the 11th. So that's a fabulous place along the coast there. And it's an amazing group of ministers and speakers and musicians, and just it will really elevate your spirit to be there. Okay, we also have ongoing classes on Zoom that have linked in our newsletter. We have Tai Chi on Thursdays with Chris Worcester. meditation later that afternoon with energization and meditation with Mary McEnany in the Ananda style, Self-Realization Fellowship. And then Friday, the Course of Love class, which is a drop-in online class on the book, A Course of Love. We also want to welcome and bless our children, and whether they're here or watching online, if you would repeat with me, we see you, we love you, we love you, we are a gift from God, and so it is. All right, I've been on vacation. Okay, all right, but the children are very welcome. And last but not least in our announcements is our practitioners. They are the heart of our center because we know that prayer transforms lives. So if something's stirred up in you this morning or you arrive with something on your heart, please see one of the practitioners. They'll be glad to do a quick 5-minute miracle with you, or you can set up time for a longer prayer session with them. Also put a prayer request in the box or online. Okay. So, if you would now stand, we're going to have our closing song followed by our affirmation. And we have a new song this week, and it is a Melissa Phillippe song. And this is back when she was solo, before she knew Z. But it's a great song. And if you would, we're going to sing the chorus. So you can listen to Melissa sing the verse, and then, so there's 2 verses and then 2 choruses.
Not gonna cave into this pain in my heart. Not gonna listen to lies of self-hatred. Not gonna cry over yesterday's loss. Slip into darkness and wallow in pain. I've been there and done that, and I will not again. Instead, I'm gonna rise up with spirit. I'm gonna rise up remembering who I am. I'll rise up with spirit. Now I surrender. I'm not gonna fear it. I'm gonna rise up with spirit. You see me sitting with a smile on my face, counting all of the blessings I'm given, learning to love me the way that He does. I'll open my heart and let it all in. I know it gets better with each moment I'm in. I win. I'm gonna rise up with spirit. I'm gonna rise up remembering who I am. I'll rise up with spirit. Now I surrender. I'm not gonna fear it. I'm gonna rise up with spirit.
All right. If you would repeat with me or read with me our affirmation. I align with true power and let her rip. And so it is. Namaste. Thank you.